Hey, hey, hey. It's date night.
Date night.
Oh my gosh, look at this.
Date
How cool
night.
is that? Woo. Yeah, we're rocking out. I am blown away how many people I see on here with babies.
With babies, we got.
Oh my
all these-
goodness gracious. Tell me it's not catchy. Oh my goodness.
Don't drink the date night water.
Yes, it's amazing. And our friends are here with us
Yeah.
from all over the world.
Over the world.
Oh my goodness.
This is the coolest date
I
night
see
ever.
both sides of Canada, both sides of America. Oh my goodness. It's
Both
great.
sides of Davenport.
I
It's
think
like,
there's people even here from Florida, you know, it's
I think there might be.
amazing. Well, are you ready, girl?
I'm ready.
We're
I'm
ready. We know how
Are
busy
you
you
ready?
are. You've been running. I am ready, girl, because the reason I'm ready is because I know you're ready. I'm just going to kind of sail through this one. I do want to tell all of you men that are on the call tonight, don't be wondering if you're going to get beat up tonight. We're not beating anybody up. We're not going to make anybody feel bad. We're going to actually celebrate who you are.
That's
And
right.
I really want you to hear me right now. I want you to know that when Gaye and I speak to you tonight, we believe with all of our hearts that your greatest days, your greatest moments, your greatest dreams, your greatest mission together is just about to happen.
Exactly.
You're about to, it's going to be cray cray. So we want to talk to you at that level tonight. So baby, what are we going to talk to them about
I'm
tonight?
excited. So date night tonight, we're going to talk on keep dating.
Keep dating.
Keep
Imagine
dating.
that.
Keep dating.
Remember
Keep
before you
dating.
got married, you used to date?
That's right.
Remember when you first started dating, and even some of you that are single, you stopped dating a long time ago because you forgot to date. And so we want to talk about, and can I tell you, I shouldn't say this. I'm so sorry. Can I just be really open with you? When I used to hear people at marriage things go, keep dating, I'd be like,
Yes,
hey,
that's right.
But can I tell you, it is a major ordeal for you to put time aside. Don't call it a date, call it whatever you want to. But it is so important for you to keep time for each other, because love is spelled T-I-M-E. And when you don't have time for each other, when you don't make time for each other, it starts bringing up all kinds of thoughts and ideas.
That's right.
And can I tell you, on our time of being together, date night or whatever it is, we dream new dreams, and we fall in love again. What else do we do, baby?
Well, we create new memories, which are
Yes.
so cool, because one of the greatest things you have are memories.
And don't we always try to laugh?
Oh, totally.
Some of y'all really
always
need
crazy.
to put laughter. We take ourselves too serious. We take our lives too serious. We take our circumstances too serious. And we just got to go out. Remember when you used to have fun? And what couples come to Gaye and I all the time, you know what they say to us? They go, can we be more than roommates? Can we be more than just people that are business partners?
Yeah.
Can we be people that are more than just doing life together? Can we really be each other's best friends? And can we really come together and make a big difference? And I want to tell you who's going to benefit most from this is not only you all, not only us, but I believe our children.
Amen.
Our children are going to benefit.
That's exactly
most.
right.
Because men, when your children see you loving and dating and wanting to be with your wife, it builds a security in them, and it shows them how to date, and it shows them who they should date,
That's right.
and it shows them how to stay in the dating mode. So
That's right.
let's talk
You
about
made
that.
a great point. And I think it's important because I think we have singles on here. We have some people that are dating, and then we have married, and probably somebody that's maybe single and dating someone is thinking, why do you need to remind us to date? Because they can't fathom that once they get married, they would ever stop dating, because they're so excited. They're like cuckoo in love, and everything's wonderful. And so they're going, what is this? And yeah, we need to, when you get married one day, I want you to remember this talk.
Can I
Right?
tell you, just let me give you a little, you know how busy you were before you're single? And then those of you that get married, remember how busy you were before you got married. And then remember after you had your first child, you went, what did we used to
What
do?
did we do with our time?
And then you had your second child and you went, really, what did we do? And what happens to you as your family grows, you get increasing responsibilities with less strength, with less energy. And so it takes more effort to be intentional,
Right.
to actually really lead, to say, no, I'm going to keep this fresh. See, one of the things I want you to write down, and I'm begging you right now, is don't start treating each other too casually. It's easy to just get used to each other, so comfortable with each other. It's like in any relationship that then all of a sudden you start taking people for granted. And then you no longer see in them the value that other people see in them. And you start irritating each other. So before we start tonight, if I can just say this, I just want to ask all of you all, don't show it on your face if you've got your face on the screen, but if you need to forgive, because you won't be able to receive the information tonight. The other thing I want to beg you right now is please turn off all your devices and remove your distractions, because the next 25 minutes could absolutely revolutionize your life. And so I would just encourage you to relax, get in a place where you can just focus, maybe take some notes and just go, okay, maybe I have been treating my spouse, the person that I love, too casually. Maybe I have been talking to them in a way that I shouldn't have talked to them, that destroys love and destroys our even wanting to be together. See, one of the things that happens is as you start in a relationship, if you're not careful, you'll leave unresolved conflict on the table, and it will keep you from wanting to get together. And so what we have to do is learn how to have a conversation at the right time, in the right place, in the right way. That's critical, what I just said. And then be able to share our hearts without being defensive or without pointing fingers or switching it on somebody, but just listening. I just want to ask you for the next 30 days, will you please in your life just have conversations without being defensive, without being angry, and you watch what happens. It will blow your mind. So let's don't, I just want to say this to you, okay? Don't treat each other too casually, or you will become a casualty. If you treat each other too casually. So I just want to encourage you to put a 10 on your mate's head. It's easy to look at everything that's wrong in them and flawed in them and that you would like to change in them. But will you just, for a moment, just celebrate who they are? In all the studies, it's the most amazing thing. The couples that have the greatest marriages don't really have the greatest marriages, but they think they have the greatest marriages. And they don't have the best spouse or the greatest spouse. They don't do everything right, but they put a 10 on each other's head instead of putting a 2 or a 3. It's like almost that person that in your life you respect the most in your life, and you wanted to meet them. You always wanted to meet them. How would you treat them when you met them? Let's just make a decision that we're going to keep dating. And for the next 30 days, we're just going to change it up. By the way, this is a choice. You can choose this. So I just want to encourage you to do that.
And I love what you said. I think what's so important sometimes is when we need to go back. When you are dating, if you're dating right now or you're married right now, when you dated, one of the things you did was you dated to learn about that person. You didn't just date to date. You're like, I want to know about this person. I want to know that what makes them tick. I want to know the things they like. I want to know what they think romance is. I want to know all these things. And then you get married and we stop learning. And everybody changes. I'm totally different than I was 5 years ago. You're totally different than you were. And if we stop learning like we should do when we're dating, then we get to this stagnant place. And then we take each other for granted because we stop learning.
Well, instead of learning, we start judging.
Yes.
And I start saying, well, I wish my mate was different. I wish she responded different. I wish he was different. And all of these build walls. All you singles, please hear me. All these things build walls instead of bridges.
That's right.
And so I just want to encourage you. It's simpler than you know, but it's more profound than you could ever imagine. And you really do have to work on it. You really do have to work on it, because you used to be really interested in each other. And now you're doing a very dangerous thing. And that is, all of us think we know. Well, I know about. I know everything about her. No, you don't. Because can I tell you, this is not the same girl I dated. She's not the same girl I married. She's, for God's sake, she's not even the same girl she was last week. And so you know what I'm talking about. And so I'm learning every day of my life more and more about her. And so if you'll allow me, my name is PT, so Pastor Tim, so I get to be pastor for just a second. The Bible is so clear. If you really want to have a great relationship with your spouse, men, especially us, there's two things you need to do, okay? You need to study your wife and find out her 5 greatest needs, her 5 greatest dreams, her 5 greatest desires. I mean, I see all your faces on here right now. I'm sorry, I'm supposed to be looking in the camera, like looking you in the eye, but I'm looking you in the eye in your picture. And I see a lot of singles on here. I see people that have been married, people that want to be married. I see people that are married that are going, I don't know if I want to be married. I mean, I see everybody on here, but can I tell you, the person that's in front of you is more interesting than you know, if you would just take time to get to know them.
Right.
But so much of what happens, and then I want you to go because you got a lot on your heart tonight, and I want her to lead. Matter of fact, we were just out on the road, and this girl just absolutely killed it, talking about the dream and the vision. And oh my goodness, because one of the things that we love to do on our dating time is we love to dream new dreams. And so I don't know if you want to talk about that, as we move, but man, please treat and talk to each other with such love and kindness, and watch what happens. Patience. It's amazing what happens in your relationship. So go, girl.
Oh, there's so much. But I also want to really challenge you to understand that maybe your spouse has a different way of dating or different ways they view dating. Or I want to tell a story that I think will help explain it, because I had a woman come to me not long ago, and she said, my husband drives me crazy because he's like a loose cannon. And I want him to plan a date, and I want it to be just like this and all lined up, and I want it like this. And he won't do that. It's like, he's here and he's there and he's all this. And I said, why would you want to snuff out the adventure in him? Why don't you just go with him? And so it reminded me of one of our wonderful dates, because when we dated 5 years long distance, I didn't get to see you very much.
I'm a casual.
So
you don't want to date the way I date.
So 5 years long distance.
Yes.
So ladies, I didn't date anybody else. So when I saw him, what do you think? I am ready for these like incredible date. Like I've got it laid out. I know what I want. I want this amazing date. And one of Tim's favorite things, before I get to the true story.
Amazing date. Now realize we're in a battle, because now we're managing expectations. I'm going to get an amen out there somewhere, right? Well, I thought we were going to eat steak, and we're eating hot dogs.
That's right. Beanie Weenie.
You don't love me.
What's wrong with you?
You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyhow, go.
So I would get all dressed up, ladies, and I would go sit down at this restaurant, and we would sit down, and they bring the menus. That's when you could bring a menu. You didn't have to do it on the phone. And we're looking at the menu, and I'm like really getting into it. I'm like, oh my word, look at this. They've got steak and sea bass. And Tim looks at the waitress and says, what is the fastest thing on your menu? And I'm like, what? And he said, ma'am, we've got a movie to catch. I want the quickest thing. Just bring out an appetizer, whatever it is. And I remember thinking, oh my word, look at me. But that's not it. That's not even the story. So
okay. That's a big story, though.
I go to see him in Ohio, and I'm so excited because they have this Italian restaurant, like that is the bomb.com. Like it is the best. In fact, next time we go to Ohio, I want to go there again. Yes. Mama de Salvo.
Carlos, like, get the reservation.
The best salad and hot bread that you used to be able to have. And so we're on our way. I'm decked out on our way to go. And we're still in Ohio in Piqua. And we're going and we're talking. And he yells as loud as he can, oh my word, did you see that? And I'm like, what? And he goes, did you see that Indiana Jones, the first Indiana Jones, yes, we're dating ourselves, is now out. We've got to go. We've got to go. And I'm like, I was going to get Mama de Salvo's Italian. And I'm going, okay, gang, just chill.
Breathe.
Just breathe. He's adventurous. Go with him. Go with him. He goes, babe, I'll get you Italian. And he pulls through Arby's. Yes, ladies, Arby's. Because why?
Great idea.
What did Arby's have?
Italian subs with the dressing that runs everywhere.
So we get the Italian subs. Now, because it was last minute, we're the last ones to the movie. So guess what's the only seat available? the last 2 front row seats. And
You know the kinds where you gotta look up the street like this? all the
like
time?
this.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and says, let's get the sandwiches out. Well, as I pull them out, have you ever smelled Italian sandwiches in a theater or anywhere? And I look, and the Italian dressing is all in my pocketbook. It's all over us, and he is chowing on this Italian stuff. What is my point?
Indiana Jones.
Your dates are not going to be
It was
always
the
what you
greatest
think.
date we had ever been on.
Hey, we're still talking about it. We're still talking about
So
it.
this is what's great about these dates. You can either stay mad and bitter about them.
That's right.
Or we can start laughing, because I had no idea she didn't think this was the greatest date since humankind. I'm going, I am doing my job as a man. Can I get some help in here, man? I thought, good God, I am the man of men. I am taking this girl on a journey that any woman in the world would ever want to go on. This is excitement. This is spontaneity. I'm going, oh my gosh, this is incredible. And she's kind of got that kind of like, and then after we got out of the movie, I went, that is awesome. And she was not like really excited. She was still like whining over Mama decided. She really wasn't. Can I tell you? And this is a big point. It doesn't always go as you plan.
Yes, that's right.
It's not what happens in your dating and in your relationship. It's how you respond to it.
That's right.
It's the attitude that I have after. And that's why I just want to encourage you, because some of you right now, if you could just be honest, you're hurt. You go, does he care? Does she care? And so therefore you're wanting to be together. You don't feel noticed. You don't feel validated. You don't feel loved. He never says how beautiful you are. He never says, my gosh, honey, out of all the women in the world, God blessed me with the greatest woman. And ladies, you don't ever say to him how much you admire him and love him and respect him and how grateful you are. I'm giving you a lot. You're going to have to go back. I want you to write these words down, because if you weren't raised with these words, they feel uncomfortable. They feel a little embarrassing. They're like, I never heard that. I never heard my parents say those words. But I want to encourage you to start saying them to one another, because whether you know it or not, you hunger for it. And when you're on dates, you can either fill her up or you can empty her further. And you can either fill him up or empty him further. So
I'm so glad you brought that up, because can I say this? I have this written down in big letters, that one of the greatest ways that you've dated me from day one is with your words. Because you've always noticed me. You've always said to me, wow, is that a new dress? You look so beautiful. Or did you get your hair cut? You look amazing. And you notice me all the time. And because of you noticing and verbalizing those words, you date me. And you can date with your words. And you know what? Some of you, Tim's right. It's very uncomfortable. And some of you think, like, maybe you think that the woman, because she's so needy for it and she needs it all the time and thinks, I'm not going to be the one to give her to her. I'm just whatever. And I'm just going to beg you to date her with your words and notice each other. And ladies, notice your husbands. Understand, sometimes we forget, or the person that we're dating, we forget they're out there and they're doing all this. And we think, I used to think this, Tim's a man, he's got it. He didn't need anything from me. He needs amazing words of affirmation from me. So you can date with your words. And that's actually a very special date. It's
so critical. I just want to encourage you. I wrote these words down today, and I think they're so good for all of us. They're good for me. Okay. Because she's always been so that way with me. She would always say, honey, you're amazing. You're handsome. I mean, listen to her. She's lying to me, and Andrew, I believed her. You know what I'm talking about? I went, yeah, she's all right. But it's so cool, because it's amazing how you can build one another, and you can actually speak each other's future to each other.
That's right.
You can speak it. So I wrote this down today. Make every moment you have special. And the way you make it special is you say it. You show it, and you do it with surprises.
Yes.
Put enough thought. Now, it takes some energy. Put enough thought and imagination into how are you going to make her feel special. And I just want to beg the men, ladies, and I'm going to ask you to please give us permission. Are you okay? And men, this may bother some of you. I don't want it to, but I just really want to bring gentlemen back.
Yes.
I want us not to be embarrassed anymore that we get a door for somebody and that we honestly pull their chair out.
That's right.
And that we honor them. And I ask ladies, we're not saying you're weak. We're not saying you're not strong enough. We're not saying you're not equal to us. We're saying to you, I honor you. And it does something for us as a man to be able to serve you and protect you and honor you. I know you don't need our protection. I know you can whip us. I understand all that. Okay. I know she could karate chop me and take me out, but I'm just telling you, we got to get this gentleman thing back out there. And so I want to ask you tonight, I want to ask all of you on this Zoom call with me tonight. I want to ask you, will you join me, men, for the next 30 days? And let's reinstate being gentlemen again.
Wow.
Let's say it. When we open the door, say, honey, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. Let's compliment our wives in front of our children.
Yeah.
And by the way, those of you that got babies, say it out loud so the baby can hear it. When our children were young, I would say in front of Bree and Blake when they were babies, do you know how incredible your mother is? You know how awesome she is. So what happened is I realized I could either tear her down or build her up. But then when we went out, I didn't want her to be so empty that she didn't have anything left to give to me. And likewise to me too. Isn't it easy? And please jump in here. Isn't it easy for us to give our best to everybody else?
Yeah.
Everybody at work, everybody at church, everybody in our businesses, and bring the leftovers home.
Yeah.
And I just want to beg you, men, let's lead in this. Let's go first. Let's set the bar. Let's say it, and let's find something special that we can do once a week for our wives that tell them I was thinking about you while I wasn't with you. And I want to beg you to do one more thing. At the end of the day, let there be more text messages to your wife than any other person on your phone. Hey, Kate, I've been thinking about you. You're an incredible mother. I've been praying for you. I right now on the men's call, I've got all the men's praying for their wives. And I just want you to know today I was praying for you. You're so special. You're a gift. And I'm grateful. Now, some days you're going to feel like really motivated to say that. And other days you're going to have to go, I really like you. Thank you. And because you get irritated. When two people get together, there's going to be two different opinions. So I just want to encourage you, don't let your differences come in between your unity.
Right.
You can walk hand in hand when you don't see eye to eye.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Mm.
And this is something I've been very guilty of. And I think ladies, especially if we have kids, that we are guilty of. And that is that dating and noticing our husbands and making plans is an afterthought. It all becomes an afterthought. Well, if anybody knows me, I like to look up that. What does afterthought mean? Even though we know in our heads, afterthought means an item or thing that is thought of or added later. It's added later. And, I realized that it was so important that I prepared, ladies, I'm just telling you, I know what we do when we're dating. We like spend a whole week. Like our girlfriends are like, what are you going to wear? You're going out Friday night, right? What are you going to, especially with you, they'd say, you're going out with Tim, he's in town. What are you going to wear? And I think about it all week long, what I was going to wear. And then you get married and it's like an afterthought. Like you look at him and go, what are you wearing? I don't know. What are you wearing? I don't know where we're going. I don't know. And you just walk out the door and everything's like, And I really challenge you not to make it an afterthought. Like dress up. This is something that I've always done. I really have. I will never forget, not long ago, I couldn't do it because I was at the ranch before I went to pick you up. We're usually flying together, but I always made a point if I was picking Tim up at the airport no matter what time it was,
She really did.
that I would be completely dressed up, looking good, by the way, perfume, our favorite perfume, which I meant to bring the bottle out. We have our own perfume and cologne that we that we used on
Yeah,
our
but I don't
wedding.
want to promote a preferred. You buy your own. You get your own
Use
idea.
your own idea. Anyway, and I would make sure I was dressed up for him so that when he came and got in the car, it wasn't some lady with snot all over from the kids and sweats and all that. But I put thought into it. And so many times we don't, and I know some of you got a herd of kids, and I get it. But I'm telling you, if you start letting that go, it is going to affect you, your home, and your kids. And it's important. And I know some of you are probably saying this, like, you're over my head. I don't know what to do. And so I wrote some things down that I think would be cool. What if you asked your spouse or the person you're dating this? What is a wonderful, fun idea that would be a fun breakfast time for you? What is something that you would love to do for breakfast, especially if you're married? Somebody may say, have breakfast in bed. Somebody may say, get us coffee and a donut and go take a walk. Whatever that is, it's questions that you can ask. What if you asked your spouse, what is your idea of a romantic night? Everybody's ideas are different. Or maybe you say, if we drove away and got somewhere away for a couple hours, where would you want to go? What would you want to do? Let me tell you how spontaneous and fun it can be. So Tim and I are in Traverse City last week. Michigan, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was. And we went for a day and a half just to get away. We're like, we got to get away. We're going to get away with the two of us. Well, on one of the days we got up, and I'm big now on traveling. I look at my phone and I look at the reviews of restaurants. We're going to find, because we're foodies, we're big time foodies. And so we're going to find a restaurant. So that morning we get up and we're kind of riding around, and he's like, well, look at the restaurants for lunch. We're going to go have this because you're on vacation. You want this great lunch. So I'm looking at, this place, the reviews are amazing. And I started going through them, and I'm kind of thinking what I kind of rather do. And he kind of is too, but he's not, he don't want me to get upset or think that it wasn't important to go out. And he goes, would you be okay with me stopping in that grocery store right now? And can we get some salami and some cheese and crackers? And can we get some grapes? And will you get little bowls to put it? And can we just drive with the windows down?
What's that Italian thing?
It's something about that Italian thing. It's a charcuterie board. We made our own charcuterie board in the car. And Miss Kate is on here, and she got me hooked on fig dip. Heaven, Lord, it's dangerous. Dangerous. But let me tell you, we rode around through every town we could find, looking at all the gorgeous homes. We were dream building like you have no idea. That's a great date, by the way, is dream building. But we're sitting in the car. We could have been at some 5-star restaurant, and we weren't. And it was one of the greatest memories. I absolutely loved it. So you need to get creative and understand it doesn't have to cost. People say to me all the time, you don't understand, we don't have the money. You didn't have the money probably when you were dating, but you did whatever you could. I remember, honey, when we were dating, and you decided that you wanted to impress me because he found out that I love the fact that my dad always grilled. I'm big on grilling. And so you didn't tell me that he'd never grilled before.
John Engstrom needs to hear this. Engstrom, you need to hear this.
So we go to this little park with a picnic table, and he's all ready to grill out. And he's like, and he's looking at me, and I'm like, you don't know how to do this. And he's like, I don't know how to start this. What do I do? And
I poured a half a can of that stuff on there. And then I threw a match on it and almost blew up the whole park. We're running for our lives. And the steaks were so burnt we couldn't eat them, but we laughed.
But I've never forgotten it.
No, and we've never done it since. But I'm just telling you, it was worth doing one time. One time it was worth it. My goodness.
Get creative. You know what you could do? I think it's important we give them ideas. Wait till your kids go to bed. You don't have to have a babysitter. I'm telling you, Edgar and Alicia, you could do this. Lay down a blanket on your floor, and I'm bringing your rug to your house so you can do that. Lay a blanket down on the floor and put on a movie and go get some cheese and crackers. Doesn't cost much.
Everything we do is with food. I don't know what to tell you. It's just food.
And guess what you do? You sit on this floor and act like you're outside, and you're having a date and the kids are asleep. Well, there's a no-brainer. People say I don't have time. You make time for what you want to make time for. So make time for it. You could do an outdoor drive-in. You could go outside because everybody has a wall. Y'all got a wall? Shine something on your wall, and you can sit
see
right
my
there.
Wife's got a problem with creativity. The expectations of Edgar are so high. I don't know if I can meet these expectations, but I'm working on it every day. I know it's important.
And you know what? If your spouse or somebody you're dating or someone you're going to date one day is words of affirmation, this is massive. You can tape a note on their steering wheel before they get up in the morning and write something on it. You know what I used to do when you traveled some without me? I would put notes all in Tim's suitcase, and I would slide him in his shoes, and he'd say, he wouldn't see him, and he'd slip his shoes on and start walking to go speak and go, what is that in my shoe? And it would be a note of me saying how much I love you. The other day when you came home, listen, ladies, this is cool. I went and got all the pictures that we had printed of our honeymoon and dating, and I had them all over his mirror, and I wrote in there, I love you, babe, with the heart. I wrote with lipstick, and I put it on his mirror. That was pretty cool.
So, yes, everything she does is very cool. It's so cool. It really is. And I want to make sure we watch our time.
You're right.
But can I tell you, one of the things I'll tell you what we did is when we were getting married, the day of our wedding, I sent back a koala bear that I bought in Australia on a chain for her to wear as a sign of our love for each other. Okay. And so now, one of the things I did is I went and I made 3 more of those necklaces, and Blake wears one, Bree wears one. I don't have on mine tonight, but I wear it almost all the time if you see me speaking. And it's a symbol of our love for each other that reminds us of our love. So I want to be very practical tonight, honestly, as we wind down at each other. I want you to understand it's the simple things.
That's right.
It's taking a walk. It's watching a sunrise or a sunset, whichever one you like, morning or evening. But I just want to encourage you to do it. So men, here's what I beg you. Open her door for her. Go to the restaurant, pull out her chair, sit down, and I beg you, be all there. Yeah. Look, I've been so guilty of being all over the world. And I just beg you to be all there. There's nothing worse than being with somebody and not being with somebody. Not being fully engaged, not being all there. So even if you've got to sit down and write down 5 or 6 questions that you're going to ask her at dinner. How are you? Is there anything that you need help on more? And just start opening up and get close, get connected, stay connected. It takes time. It takes kindness. It takes gentleness to do these things. And men, I want to ask you to do something, okay? And I'm going out on a limb right now. But I'm going to ask you when you're at dinner for you to say, honey, I want to say grace before dinner. I want to just say a prayer. And maybe you can reach over and grab her hand, just hold her hand. And it doesn't have to be 5 minutes long. It can just be a simple little prayer. Lord, thank you for this food and your blessing on our lives. And just lead spiritually. And watch what happens in your life. Set a tone. That's right. That will be life-changing. So I just want to encourage you to do that. Well,
just in ending, and I know you probably have something to say. I just want to say, if you'll write this down, I just read this today. I thought it was so powerful. It says this: chase her even when she's already yours. Flirt with him even though you've already got his eye. Chase her even when she's already yours. Flirt with him even though you've already got his eye. It's just a reminder for us to go back and to notice each other, to get each other's attention, to keep chasing, to keep flirting, to keep getting each other's attention, and whatever it takes to do that. And it isn't difficult. That's one of the things we're trying to help people understand, but it's so important to do. It's so important to do.
I think one of the reasons that we get bored with each other is we stop growing. We stop stretching.
Right.
We stop becoming all that we were created to be. I want to ask you to join me tomorrow night. I'm in a series right now on finding your shape, finding out who you were made to be. Right now, we need to be busy finding out who each other are, our callings and our giftings, and we need to get in on it in a big way. I'm going to throw you a big question right now. Okay, here's some homework. I want you right now to figure out, why in the world did God bring you and the person you're married together? What are you supposed to do in the earth together that you could not do separately? I'm going to encourage you to unite. Don't fight over leadership in the home. Submit yourselves one to another. Submission actually means to be under the mission. It's not under a person, it's under a mission. Right. And so I want to encourage you right now to take new action. Take new action today.
That's right.
To talk different, to treat each other different, to plan different. No longer casually treat your wife casually or your husband casually. Respect. When she comes in a room, I'll still stand up. I'll go to her. I want to be there for her. I want to show such respect for her. Consequently, we're so blessed our children do that. And so I ask you to start dreaming again. We could talk for another half hour. Maybe we will at some point, and just put it out on dreaming together. Are you dreaming together? Do you want the same thing? Do you want different things, but you know what each other want? What is your greatest dream? What is your greatest desire right now? Do you know the favorite things in your spouse's life? And then I want to encourage all of us tonight to invite more people. I want you to invite some other couples. I want to challenge us all to invite 10 people to be on next month's date night. Okay. I want you to do that. And we can do that. But I want you to begin to pray for each other. I want you to begin to pray. Some of us have issues. We've got challenges right now that we need to pray, that our wives or our husband will get stronger. They'd be more understanding. They would get wisdom. They would lead at another level, that they would be more sensitive to people around them. Whatever the need is, take it to God. And we're going to watch God do amazing things. I believe that your greatest victories are in front of you. I really do. And I believe you do too. Yeah. And so guys, let's keep dating. Let's don't stop dating. As you can tell, we made a lot of mistakes. We continue to make mistakes, but I'm so proud of you for joining us. And Gaye and I are so grateful to have what we consider to be our friends. And what happens if we start a revolution together?
Wow.
What happens if right now the people in Canada would all of a sudden have thousands of people that would be on date night? What would happen if you in your city, you would have thousands of people? So I just want to encourage you. Be charged. You have anything else you want to say?
One last thing I want to say this. I read this today. A true relationship is two unperfect people refusing to give up on each other. Don't give up. Keep dating, keep noticing, because I'm telling you, it's so worth it. And you say this all the time, and I have to say this, don't ever stop being grateful for each other. Gratitude is incredible.
How would they let us know about their crazy date nights? We went on a date.
That's a great idea. How could they do that?
How would we do that?
info@g5church.com. Bada bing, right there.
One more time.
info@g5church.com.
Will you do us a favor? Will you send us what you've done?
Yes.
John Inkstrom, I know you're going to have some crazy stuff. You're going to have to tell me. It's going to be cray. We got people on here from everywhere. I can't wait to hear. We're in this together. By the way, I just want to put it out there. Get ready, because we are going to do a live event at G5 on relationships. Right. So make plans to be there. We love you. All you singles, we love you. Bless your heart. It's going to be crazy. We got to shut up. I'm loving it.
Love you.